Hello and namaste. Welcome back, seekers of knowledge. In the previous video, we examined the famous Mrittika Gata Nyaya or the pot clay analogy. We saw how knowing the cause is like knowing everything else that arises from it. Today, we will explore the ultimate cause, the source of the entire universe. This fundamental reality, the very essence of existence, is what Vedanta calls Brahman. Are you ready to embark on a daunting intellectual ascent? This is going to be a steep, demanding climb that will test your mental fortitude. But the revelations that await at the summit are truly mind blowing. It will forever alter your perception of the universe and yourself. Let's get started. Vedanta offers many definitions for Brahman. Today, I want to share a simple yet profound one. It's a term you might already be familiar with, even used it in everyday life without realizing its deeper meaning. In fact, it's even a common name in South India. Brahman is defined by three profound words: Sat, Chit, Ananda. These three words, often pronounced together as a single word, Sat-Chit-Ananda, encapsulate the very essence of Brahman. Sat means existence. This might seem like a simple concept, but in the context of Brahman, it takes on a whole new meaning. In our everyday understanding, existence is often used as a verb. A chair exists, a flower exists, but Vedanta offers a different perspective. Sat, in the context of Brahman, refers to pure existence, the unchanging reality that persists even when all the temporary names and forms are removed. Imagine peeling away everything in the universe, the tables, the stars, and even the very concept of time. What remains? That's Sat, the underlying ground of being, the source from which everything else arises. Chit means consciousness. This isn't just about the ability to think or reason. In Vedanta, Chit refers to pure consciousness, the awareness that is ever present and unchanging. Think of it as the vast ocean of awareness, untouched by the waves of thoughts and experiences that arise and subside within it. Brahman, as pure consciousness, is the witness to everything that happens in the universe, yet remains unaffected by it. Ananda means bliss. This isn't simply happiness or pleasure derived from external experiences. Vedanta defines Ananda as a state of pure, infinite bliss that is inherent to Brahman's nature. It's a state of complete fulfillment and peace, untouched by suffering or limitations. Brahman is not seeking this bliss, it simply is bliss. The entire universe emerges from Brahman, whose nature is Sat-Chit-Ananda, pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. Understanding these three aspects is the key to unlocking the true meaning of Brahman. Let us delve deeper into each of these concepts. First, we will explore Sat, or pure existence. Vedanta says that the entire universe, with all its dazzling varieties, is ultimately just a play of names and forms, a grand illusion which it calls Maya. And the only reality is Brahman, the unchanging source of everything. Imagine a vast ocean. The waves on the surface are constantly changing, taking on different shapes and sizes. But beneath the waves lies the stillness and depth of the ocean itself. That unchanging depth, that constant presence is akin to Sat, the pure existence of Brahman. Think of any object, a rock for example. We perceive it with a label, rock, and a physical form. But Vedanta asks us to look beyond this. Strip away the label rock and its physical form and the matter that makes it up. What's left? You may say nothing. But Vedanta claims that this is not nothingness, but pure existence. This pure existence is Brahman itself, pervading everything in the universe. Whether it's a rock, a star, or the entire cosmos, beneath the physical form lies a deeper reality, Sat, the essence which Vedanta calls Brahman. Why aren't we able to see this pure existence? It is not because it's not there, but it's because our sense organs with their limited capabilities cannot perceive it. Why not? In order to understand this, let's take the help of another analogy frequently used in Vedanta, the dream. Imagine yourself in a vivid dream. The entire dream world, with its landscapes, objects, and experiences, arises from your own consciousness. There is just one cause, your consciousness. It creates, sustains, and dissolves the entire world. The dream sky, the dream land, the dream objects and experiences, everything in your dream exists because of your consciousness pervading them. It lends them a temporary reality. Without your consciousness, the dream world collapses. Now let's say the you within the dream become curious about the source of this dream world. You might look at the dream sky and ask, where is the consciousness that creates this sky? You might search for it within the dream objects. Will you be able to locate the consciousness that is present in all of them? Let's take the example of the dream sky. It has a name, sky, a form, a clear expanse, and a function providing a backdrop. But in essence, it's part of your consciousness, manifesting as an illusionary sky. Our senses within the dream perceive only this illusion. The underlying pure existence, devoid of attributes like name, form, or color, remains permanently hidden. If I were to tell you, remove the name, form, and the material that make up the sky, and what remains is consciousness. You may reply, when you remove all these things, nothing exists. But that's not true, isn't it? Your consciousness, the cause of this dream universe, the thing that lent existence to every object in your dream, remains. It is ever present, even when all the names and forms are removed. The only reason you don't see it is because your instruments, your sense organs, are not capable of perceiving this pure consciousness. The dream world is ever changing. The sky might turn into forest and objects might morph into different shapes. However, the underlying pure existence, the consciousness, because of which everything exists, remains constant and unchanged. Just as your consciousness is the source of the entire dream world, Brahman is the source of the entire universe. It pervades everything, lending it existence, even though our senses perceive only the names and forms. The dream analogy helps us understand that Sat, the pure existence of Brahman, is beyond the grasp of our senses, although everything that exists is made up of it. This concept of Sat or pure existence might seem abstract at first glance. But what if I told you it aligns with a fundamental scientific principle, the law of conservation of mass and energy? This law states that matter and energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. Think about water. It can exist as a liquid, transform into vapor, or even break down into hydrogen and oxygen atoms. In a nuclear reaction, these atoms may transform into pure energy. Yet, throughout these transformations, something fundamental remains constant. This is Sat, the underlying pure existence. It's the indescribable reality that persists, never truly destroyed, always conserved. This is the essence of Brahman. In my opinion, the law of conservation and Sat are different ways of expressing the same truth. One speaks the scientific language of measurable quantities, while the other speaks the philosophical language of pure existence. Both point to the unchanging reality beneath the ever-shifting phenomena of the universe. Now we will examine the second aspect of Brahman, Chit or pure consciousness. Vedanta describes the universe as Maya, an illusion, a grand play of ever-changing names and forms. But what is the one thing that is essential for an illusion to exist? A conscious observer. Think of a mirage shimmering in the desert. It appears real, deceiving thirsty travelers everywhere. This illusion exists because there is an observer, someone perceiving the light refracting off the hot sand. Without the observer, the mirage has no independent reality. In fact, every illusion exists only in the mind of an observer. In the absence of an observer, there can be no illusion. Similarly, Vedanta describes the universe as Maya, an illusion. Like any illusion, it requires a conscious observer for its existence. Let's revisit our dream analogy to understand this better. Remember the vivid dream world with its sights, sounds, and experiences. It exists because of your consciousness. Your consciousness creates and sustains the dream. How does it do it? By simply observing it. When you wake up, the dream world ceases to exist because the observer, your consciousness, is no longer present. This dream analogy is used to highlight a profound truth in Vedanta. Brahman, the ultimate reality, isn't just pure existence, Sat. It's also pure consciousness called Chit. Chit doesn't create the universe in the way you create a dream. Instead, Chit is the very ground of all experience, the ever-present witness that allows the universe, the grand illusion, to unfold. It's important to understand that Vedanta doesn't see Chit as a separate observer outside the universe. That would create duality, observer and observed. Advaita literally means non-dual. There is no separation between the observer and the observed. Duality is fundamentally incompatible with Advaita Vedanta. Instead, it is important to understand Chit as the very essence of reality, the pure awareness that permeates everything. Imagine a vast ocean upon which waves rise and fall. The ocean itself doesn't create the waves, but it's the ever-present ground upon which they appear. While Chit is all-pervading, we experience a reflection of it within ourselves. Our own consciousness, with its ability to think, feel, and perceive, is a spark of the divine witness, Chit. Just as the moon reflects the light of the sun, our consciousness reflects the pure awareness of Chit. This understanding of Chit connects us to Brahman. Brahman is not just pure existence Sat, but also pure consciousness Chit. The universe, as an illusion, arises from and is sustained by the ever-present awareness of Chit. With this understanding of Sat and Chit as aspects of Brahman, we are now ready to explore the final and perhaps the most subtle concept, Ananda, often translated to bliss. But what exactly does Vedanta mean by Brahman being bliss? While bliss is the closest English word, a more fitting translation might be Purnatvam, a Sanskrit term signifying completeness or wholeness. Let's unpack this concept in the light of Advaita Vedanta's core principle of non-duality. Brahman is the ultimate reality, the only thing that truly exists. There is no other separate from it. Brahman permeates everything, infinite and complete in itself. There is nothing lacking, nothing to be added to make it whole. Many of you would have chanted or at least heard this famous Vedic verse. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. This verse is trying to explain the state of unshakable completeness which is the nature of Brahman. Purnaha itself is another name of Brahman, signifying wholeness or completeness. The verse essentially says that even if you add an infinite amount to Brahman, it remains whole. And even if you take away an infinite amount from it, it remains complete. This undepletable, unchanging state of wholeness or completeness is what Vedanta refers to as Ananda, the inherent bliss of Brahman. It's not a fleeting pleasure, but the very essence of Brahman's nature. Complete, self-sufficient and radiating sense of boundless fulfillment. It is important to distinguish Ananda, the bliss of Brahman, from fleeting pleasures like happiness, joy or excitement. These are temporary experiences that come and go. In many Indian languages, there is a beautiful way to describe misery. Words like Yenna Korai in Tamil, Kya Kami in Hindi, or Emi Takwa in my mother tongue of Telugu, all of which translate roughly to what is lacking or what is missing. They imply a sense of incompleteness that underlies suffering. Vedanta calls this state apurnatvam. We experience sorrow because we often feel incomplete on our own. Imagine a cup with a crack. No matter how much water you pour in, it will never be full. This analogy represents our tendency to chase after external things, positions, relationships, achievements, hoping to find fulfillment and happiness. The thought process often goes like this: I am not enough. If only I had more money, a better job, or a perfect relationship, then I would finally be whole. We believe external objects hold the key to filling this void and making us complete. Vedanta argues that this sense of apurnatvam cannot be cured by anything external in this illusionary world of Maya. No temporary object can bring lasting fulfillment. Vedanta emphasizes that Brahman, the ultimate reality, isn't separate from us. This feeling of separation is an illusion. We are not isolated individuals, but part of a singular infinite reality called Brahman. Understanding this oneness with Brahman paves the way for true fulfillment and lasting happiness. Once we dissociate from the limitations of our name and form, this body and this mind, and identify with our true nature as Brahman, we reach a state of unshakable joy and peace. Ananda, the bliss aspect of Brahman, is not simply happiness or pleasure. It's a state of wholeness, a sense of complete fulfillment that arises from being one with Brahman. It's the unshakable joy of simply existing, of being part of the infinite reality. This is perhaps the most important reason why we should know Brahman. To experience this Ananda and break free from the illusion of incompleteness. In conclusion, the Vedantic path may seem abstract at first, but it ultimately leads us on a journey inwards. By understanding the nature of Brahman, pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss, Sat-Chit-Ananda, and our connection to it, we discover the root cause of happiness and suffering. This self-knowledge empowers us to transcend the limitations of the ego and experience the enduring peace and fulfillment that lies within each one of us. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. If you have not already subscribed, please do. If you wish to be reminded whenever I post a new video, please click on the bell icon for reminders. If you like this video, please like and share it with like-minded people. Until next time, Namaste.